don't turn down nothing free, okay? All right, guys, so I am getting ready to go on date night. Whatever you hear in the background, my husband is, I don't know if I would call it professional, but he gets money for winning Call of Duty games. Right now, he's in there playing the video game, trying to get some money. I already primed my face with milk. You already know. Right now I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills' Dipbrow Pomade. I don't do anything different. Prime my face first, and then I go in with my pomade or my brow wiz, and I do my brows first. So me and Honey Bun, we've been married for about 2 months now. And I must say, it's not bad at all. I knew this was gonna be a far cry different from my previous marriage experience, but it's been really, really blowing my mind how much fun it is, and how much it's like a sleepover, and how much I just do stuff now that I didn't do before, like look forward to coming home. What is that? I haven't looked forward to coming home in a long time, so this has been really fun. In my first marriage, this might just end up being about my, why not? Let's just talk about the first marriage, shall we? As stated in my previous videos, if you haven't watched any of those, go watch. Whether it be a vlog or a makeup video, just go watch it. I stated before, I got married really young, like really, really, really young. I was with my now ex-husband before we got married for about 2 years on and off. I do want to emphasize the on and off because, I mean, we were on more than off, but when we were off in all sense of the word. And long story short, he joined the military. He joined the military, and he was getting stationed in Germany. And right before he got stationed in Germany, we had the conversation. It was like, hey, I want you to go with me. And I was like, hey, in order for me to go with you, put a ring on my finger, pretty much. And he was like, well, do you want to go with me? And I was like, heck yeah, man. And history happened. What I honestly wouldn't take back anything that happened over the course of me being in Germany. I wouldn't take back a single thing. I enjoyed every minute of every day. My marriage was miserable, but I truly enjoyed being in Germany. But like traveling and going to see things, like I said, going to Munich and all that other stuff, like that was so much fun. And we had other fun too. So we got married pretty much. He got married because he didn't want to be by himself, and because when you're married you get that dependent income. Even before us getting married, like we had a toxic relationship. That we did have. We had a that's my color. I didn't even show y'all. I'm using Fenty Beauty. What color is this? Some letters and some numbers. That's my color. Okay, Fenty, you have made a believer out of me. Before we got married, we were on again, off again for 2 years, blah, blah. I met him, I think I was 18 in high school. And let me tell you guys something. Ladies, I can only speak for ladies because clearly I am one. Well, not clearly, the day we live in. But either way, I can only speak for ladies. when I say this. How you meet someone is very indicative of how the relationship is gonna go. If you meet someone while you're out on vacation, more than likely you guys are gonna go out on vacations a lot. You guys are gonna travel a lot. If you meet someone at a party, more than likely you guys are gonna want to party together, or who you're with is gonna want to party together. When you meet someone and you already are with someone, more than likely, if they or you are already with someone and you met somebody else, more than likely that ain't the first time that's gonna happen in y'all's relationship, sis. I just want to put that out there. And I want to start this by saying this is not me like spilling tea. This is not me like bashing him at all. That man is a part of my history, whether I like it or not. So I've just learned to embrace it. I've learned to embrace, you know, him as who he was in my life, learning point in my life, and then I keep it moving. There's no animosity. There should never be animosity. I feel like with anybody you used to date, used to be married to, whatever, what y'all had was what y'all had. Learn from it. You know what I'm saying? Don't make the same mistake twice. That's the only thing you can really do. But being mad at that person and being bitter about it, I can say that now because I'm not anymore. But being mad about it and like looking back and being like super bitter, it just wasn't worth my energy. It wasn't worth my time. And it actually got me into more trouble, as opposed to if I just would have taken the time and just healed and did what I need, do the self-work that I needed to do, and just not be mad, girl. I brought that mess on myself. I'm the one that decided to get married at 20 and knew I really didn't want. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So how we even met in the first place was trash because he was actually trying to talk to a high school friend of mine. I know, right? Trash, pure trash. Brittany, how could you do that? Listen, he was trying to talk to my friend. She was like not trying to have it. Like, at least that's what I got the vibe that she didn't want him. I had not met this joker. So another friend of mine was actually talking to one of his friends. I think she wanted me to ride with her, or I had to go pick her up. Something happened where I ended up going to the friend's house and he happened to be there. And at this time, I also had a boyfriend. Anyway, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So I was like not checking for him, but at the same time, I'm like, that's how you really act in that relationship? What you doing? Honestly, but you know, obviously my intent wasn't to go there to woo this guy or for this guy to try to talk to me. I just was going because my friend asked me to go with her to her dude's place. Long story short, we ended up exchanging numbers that night. He was like, hey, where your man's at? I was like, when you find out, let me know. Because I honestly hadn't talked to my boyfriend in a while. So like, I think it had been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to him. And he was like, last time I talked to him, he was talking about like living with his baby mama, blah, blah, blah. Like too much for a high schooler to be going through at that. Like when I was with, again, another story for another day. So yeah, well, he was like, take my number, blah, blah, blah. And then we had talked like every day since. But what I didn't know is that that would be the day, honestly, to change the rest of my life. Because, babe, what are you doing? Please explain to me what you're doing right now. Too late. You've been exposed. You might as well just stand up. Yeah. I can't even explain what just happened. Get you a man who's gonna crawl to the kitchen to get his snack so he won't be in your shot. Huh? We exchanged numbers. We talked like every day. Since then, I would go see him. He would come see me. Met the parents, blah. Eventually, I break up with my boyfriend. He obviously stops trying to talk to my friend. My friend and I have a whole conversation because, you know, obviously, she felt some type of way because he was trying to talk to her first. And she just didn't know whether or not she like liked him like that, and I didn't even give it time. Completely understood, you know. Afterwards, honestly, that's when I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of, hindsight is always 20/20, right? So yeah, so fast forward, we are what, like a few months into our relationship. He's pulling out all the stops. I'm honestly just smitten because I've never experienced a relationship to that capacity before. So I honestly was like, what is life? He has to be my husband. Like, so then I graduate high school and I leave the nest and all hell breaks loose. And I won't say loose as a goose, don't get me started, but I wasn't, listen, I was out here being out here. Long story, nice way to put it. I was out here being out here. While with this man who absolutely adored me, or so I thought. And before I left for college, we had this whole like meltdown, like, you know, you're gonna get to college, find somebody. Oh, no, nobody else is gonna be like you. I could never be with anybody else. Meanwhile, I went to college and did what I wanted to do. This is not funny, but I go to college, and he like surprises me and comes up, and then I meet this other guy. And I was like, well, he's home. He'll never know. Did I do that? I sure did. That looks good. He came down for something. I don't remember what he came down for. And the guy that I was seeing while I was seeing him was at my apartment. And so was that guy's girlfriend. A mess. So that whole, like, so he stayed. I'm like convincing him, that's just my friend. That's just my friend. And then he like, in the midst of our argument, because I'm like, you don't trust me, blah, blah. No, daggone well. He's like, well, ever since I cheated on you, I just been feeling like you're gonna get me back. And I didn't know he had cheated on me. So what did your girl do? Milked it. You did what? How could you? You broke my girl. The waterworks, the worst. Did the whole storm out thing, had the whole waiting to exhale moment. Like, it unnecessary. So fast forward, obviously we break up for a short span of time, because then we ended up right back together out of comfort. Message. Comfort to have you stuck in your way and in their way. We thought that we were going to be, we really thought we were going to be together forever. But in reality, it wasn't that he was the only one I want. I just didn't want to try again with anybody else. That was my longest relationship. He honestly knew too much about me. And there was just comfort there in knowing that he was there. Like, I didn't have to try to impress nobody else. I didn't have to go out and look super good to get anybody else to pay attention to me. My self-esteem and self-worth, what's that? That was out the door. So like I just didn't want to be by myself, and he was comfortable. So where I thought where I thought he was the one, in reality, I was afraid of being alone. And that's truly what it was. So I made him miserable and myself miserable because I didn't want to be alone. And there was a part of me that probably really did care about that young man. A part of me that really did want to try to work. Very small part, because most of it was, he's here. I'm not alone. I have a boyfriend at the time, just to say I had a boyfriend. And that was that. Oh, and I didn't say that we actually got engaged before I went to college, which probably makes the story 10 times worse. He wasn't my boyfriend, he was my fiance. So yeah, he tells me he cheats. I play victim, like, oh my God, you betrayed me. How could you? Whatever else I could do to make him feel bad. Pull this bonnet back. Child. Yeah, so he cheated, I cheated. We all out here cheating, right? I forget what the final straw was. And this is all in my freshman year of college. So needless to say, and it wasn't just him, like I said before, I was out of my parents' house. So I left my parents' house and went crazy. I partied super hard. I got acclimated to dating life, or what I thought was dating life. I made friends, stopped being friends. Child, listen, when I went to all the clubs, okay? That's probably why I loathe them now, because, side note, I feel like men can read. Probably everybody can read, but specifically for this reason, men can read insecurities from a mile away. Or like somebody with low self-esteem from a mile away. Because the men who would approach me were not attractive men. Y'all know, some of them you're just attracted to and some of them you're not. And most of the ones who were approaching me, I was not attracted to. But I still paid them attention even with the man, because I was insecure, I had low self-esteem, and it just made me feel good about myself. That took a long time for me to say that, y'all. Like, to actually admit that I was hot in the pants, because I just had low self-esteem. Like, it made me feel like I was worth something. Somebody actually liked me. But yeah, I just was in a bad spot mentally, emotionally. But I wanted to have fun. I started hanging out with a group of baddies, and I was like, oh my God, am I one of them? No, girl, because you don't even know you're cute. We finally broke up, for real. We finally stopped talking. Honestly, we were still, well, I can't say we. Again, I can't speak for him, but I was still on that joker's social media pages trying to figure out who he talking to. Does she look like me? Yada, yada. And then a year later, not a year later, it had to be like, maybe like 3 or 4 months. He was at my school at a party. And I was at my school. We were on the same side of campus. At the dorming spot where all the dorms were. Same side of campus. And we're both leaving parties. And the direction we were walking in, we would have crossed paths. So what happened? We crossed paths. Now at this time, I am talking to somebody else, because that's what you do when you're madly insecure and don't like to be by yourself. You just hop from one relationship to the next one. So I'm leaving the party to go see the guy that I'm talking to. And it was me and my group of girlfriends. And I heard, hey, B. And the only person at this time who called me B was my now ex-husband. So crap myself a little bit. Turned around, there he was. Asked me where I was going. Then I saw the guy that I was talking to. I was like, gotta go, talk to you later. Left. Next day I get a text message, I want to talk. We ended up talking. The talk was pretty much like, why did we even break up? We were learning. You're getting out the house for real. I should have been more understanding. I'm like, yeah, my bad for being trash, but you hurt me. Still haven't admitted that I was out here faking the funk. And he was like, yeah, but you know, I'm gonna be off. He was home for like some break for basic training. So he was like, I'm gonna be home for a little bit. Let's hang out. Blah. Let's hang out turned into, I'm gonna talk to you every day, and eventually I'm gonna ask you to marry me, and eventually you're gonna say yes, and then I'm gonna ask you to marry me again. Eventually you're gonna say yes, and then we're just gonna live life. So I say all that to say, when he did say, I want you to come to Germany with me, everything in my inner being, everything in my core screamed, say no. And I'm not just talking about like, you know how people be like, I heard the voice of God and God told me blah, blah. Usually, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't really have those moments often. But when I have those moments, it's loud and it's clear. And sometimes those moments aren't audible voices while I'm awake. Sometimes they're like dreams that come. And in the dreams, it's like warning me like, hey, so many stories. I'll tell you one in particular. So I was talking to this one guy, and I was head over heels. This was right after my divorce. Well, right after my separation. So I was still married legally, but no, actually I was fully divorced by this time, because I'd met him while I was separated, and then for years on years, we were just kind of in a situationship because we were never actually together. And I had this one dream from the first time, before I knew of the first incident, and the dream was my best friend telling me that she saw the guy with another girl. And I was just like, no, he can't be. He's like out at such and such something. She was like, no, I'm telling you, I saw him. He was with that girl, and they looked really like close. They looked really close. Why I remember this? No clue. Like I would be remembering the craziest things. And sure enough, in my dream, I went to that spot, caught them together, and caught a case. So like, and then yeah, after that dream, I was like, but I love him, and like stayed in that situationship. So just like that, when my ex-husband asked me to marry him and move with him to Germany, my inner man said, girl, run. No, don't go. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not get on that plane. Do not get off the plane. Don't go. I'm telling you, don't go. That was the Holy Spirit. But what did Brittany do? She went and endured years and years of self-inflicted trauma. Years and years of relationship hurt. Years and years of patterns that keep showing up and keep triggering memories of my marriage. Years and years of trying to prove that I wasn't who my ex-husband used to say I am. Like I said, now y'all, we in a good spot. Like there's no hard feelings between either one of us. Shouldn't be. We're grown. But then it was nasty. Like we didn't have no kids. We didn't have no property together. But the way that divorce went down, you would have thought I was Angela Bassett and he was whatever that guy's name is from Waiting to Excel. Like it was a nasty divorce. So much so that the new woman in his life, I don't even think they're together anymore. Either way, the new woman in his life was like emailing me like, we good over here, we good over here. And I'm like, yes, you are. And I'm very much good over here. What are you talking to me for? All that to say, ladies, I know that when we have our hearts set on something and we want it to work really badly, we will stay in a messed up situation just for our heart's desire to come true. We will stay with Lil Tyreek from round the way, who has no ambition, no real relationship goal with you, probably still doesn't claim you as his girlfriend or whatever y'all are. And we will stay with him until he's ready to commit, because that's our heart's desire. When in reality, there's something so much better for us. This wasn't a point, but I feel the need to talk about it. There's something so much better for us on the other side of what our minds or our hearts think is the best for us. There's even better out there. And I'm not telling you nothing somebody else told me. I'm not telling you something I read in a self-help book. I'm telling you my life. And I've put myself in plenty. Whoa, kicked my light. I put myself in plenty of situations where I thought I knew the best for me. I thought, I'm going to make this move. I'm going to stay with this person. I'm going to go to this place and work at this place because I know that's what's best for me. And the problem with that is I don't know. I have an idea of what I would want my life to look like. I have an idea of what, the job I want to work at, the husband I wanted. I had an idea of all of that. And I thought my own capacity, my own ability would be able to get me there. And I'm not here, this isn't a channel where I'm going to be preaching at you. But I am going to tell you my testimony. And I am going to tell you only what I know. If I would have just relied on me, if I would have just relied on what I thought my future would look like and stuck to what I think my future should look like, I'd be somewhere back crazy. I can sit here and, laugh and joke about being with Lil Tyreek, who cheated on you 6 times and ain't got no ambition, because I've been with plenty of the Tyreeks, okay? Shoot, I've been a Tyreek. So, but here's the thing, women, we keep putting ourselves in these situations because we think we know. That we think that's the best we'll ever have. Here's a good one. He checked off my list. Let me tell y'all something. And Pastor Michael Todd read me for filth in his relationship goals series. And he told me to tear up the list. Was that Pastor Michael Todd? I think that was. Either way, that series read me for filth. And he told me to tear up the list. Now here's the thing. Here's how great my Lord is. And here's how great letting go can be. You tear up the list and you'll end up getting exactly what you need. Okay? Because your list is full of what you want probably, and nothing of what you need, or a little bit of what you need. But you let go of what your own heart's desire is, and you hold on to what, or find out what God's desire for your life is. Honey, you'll be looking back at your life like, why did I even? Because I have moments like that too, where I just look back on my life and be like, why did I? Who was I? Like, plenty of times where I think about, not even just in relationships, but you can avoid a lot of heartaches just simply by learning the lesson the first time and listening to that still small voice. Listening to that still small voice will have you avoiding a lot of obstacles we can put in our own way. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb Whose Fleece Was White as Snow. So fast forward, my divorce is final. This is years later, and actually my divorce helped me find Jesus, because honestly, I was gonna go crazy. I had friends, one friend in particular who I stayed with, and he just, God, he was my best guy friend. I remember being at his house like a lot, and I think I actually stayed there a little after I came back to the States from being separated, from wanting to get separated. And he was like, dog, are you okay? Like, you're pale, you're getting really frail, you're not eating, like, are you good? And I wasn't okay, I wasn't good. And you know, for years I thought it was just because he hurt me so bad, he did so much bad stuff to me. No, years I held on to that because it made me feel better, because it made me look like the good guy. But after reflecting and after, you know, just acknowledging all the dirt I've ever done, way back to even talking to this man in the first place that my friend wanted to talk to, after acknowledging all of that, I realized I got so bad and down and out because I was guilty. And I did not want to acknowledge that guilt. I felt so guilty. When I really acknowledged my hand in all of it, I was like, bro, you are out here being trash. You are just out here being out here. What is wrong with you? This is why you don't eat. This is why you can't sleep. This is why this simple mention of his name haunts you. And once I got to a place where I was just like, I gotta acknowledge all of my dirt. I apologized to the friend, and this isn't just something that a eureka moment that happened and overnight I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do right by everybody. No, it took some time, because I was just like, well, he deserved it because this is what he did. So yeah, like I was saying, I apologized to the friend. It was just like, I shouldn't have did that. And eventually I got to a point where I apologized to my ex-husband because of what I did, my part in it. And I confessed to him. I was like, hey, remember that time? Remember that time you were like, you were so faithful to me and I cheated on you? And it did hurt his feelings when we had that conversation. It very much hurt his feelings, because he was like, Britt, for years I carried that guilt because I thought I just did you so wrong and you were the perfect woman. And I was like, well, here I am, because for years I've been sick, literally carrying that. And it actually took him a while to forgive me. I don't even know if he truly forgave me, but I mean, we've talked since then, so I guess he does. But in order for me to truly let go, and I know this isn't everybody's story, everybody isn't as trash as me, I get it. But in order for me to have found the freedom that I found, I had to acknowledge my part in it. I had to. Now, here we are, it's been a decade later. And I can freely talk about this because I acknowledged that my makeup looks really good. Like, I don't even want to do anything else. I found freedom in acknowledging my part in it by forgiving him and by acknowledging just all of my part in it, all of my part in it. I got truly freed by that. Not like in a super churchy way where it's like, I'm free, the Lord can.
I mean, he did do that.
My makeup looks really good. I don't think I want to do anything else. And like, this is what I want out of this. Oh, too much. It's too much. It's too much. Oh, you're still rubbing it in though. Okay, here we are. It was important for me. This is a lot. It was important for me that my husband and I were coming into a new marriage. We were on the same page about communication. We were on the same page about the partnership that will be our marriage. And now we're good. Now I don't look at my husband and be like, ugh, when are you going to bed? Like, why are you breathing? I'd be like, can we snuggle? Can we like, because honestly, I feel like in the first one, our friendship was over after the first breakup. We weren't friends. We were each other's comfort blankets afterwards, but there was no friendship involved in the marriage that was me and my ex-husband. And this one, friendship was priority. If I can't joke with you, if you can't recite Disney movies with me, there's no way. Why should you even get the time of day? You shouldn't. You can't quote Mulan with me, bro. Sit down. Honest moment. Can I have an honest moment with y'all? I was with somebody for years. For a long time. Probably my longest relationship, I think. Besides my marriage. And literally one of the things that turned me off about him, he didn't know Mulan quotes. If you don't know what a mushu is, if you don't know nothing about a cricket and grandma, honestly, Mulan isn't even about Mulan. Mulan story is great, but Mushu, the cricket, and grandma made that movie. Argue with me in my comments and I'll block you. And I don't even got enough followers to be doing all that. And there's just a lot of patterns that aren't in this marriage that was in the other marriage that and here's the thing too, and I'm gonna put my lip on and then I gotta rush because we gotta leave in a little bit. The fact that my marriage failed, I was a failure. And I spent most of my adult life, admittedly, trying to prove that I was not a failure. I spent most of my adult life trying to prove that I can be a good wife. I can be a good girlfriend. That's probably why I went against my inner voice and against the dreams that I had and against the wisdom of other people to getting in other relationships, because I wanted to be in those relationships to prove that I could actually be a good girlfriend, actually be a good wife further down the road. And when I say further, I mean like I wanted to be your girlfriend. 2 months later, we got to get married. My marriage failing has nothing to do with me being a failure. We just didn't work. And it wasn't going to. It wasn't gonna work because it wasn't supposed to work. I went in the marriage with wrong intentions. I went in thinking of the way out already. So I had to acknowledge that it was not a reflection of me, just that relationship. And then I also had to acknowledge the area of self-talk, because nobody told me I was a failure because my marriage didn't work. I told me I was a failure because my marriage didn't work. And I talked myself into thinking I had to prove to other people who said absolutely nothing. I had to prove that I could be a wife to people who probably didn't even care. A lot of those relationships after my divorce were with that in mind. Nothing about partnership, nothing about friendship, nothing about actually wanting to spend my life with somebody and actually wanting to build a family and build wealth and all that. Nothing about that. I wanted to get in a relationship. I wanted to be somebody's girlfriend so then they could ask me if I want to marry them, so then I could prove I could be a good wife. This one, I didn't have to prove nothing to him. Let me back up. Before he came along, I proved to me that I could love me. That I am not who I said I was. I'm exactly who God said I am. Whoa, that's a word. I proved all that to me before he came along. But when he came along, I had nothing to prove. This man loves my sweaty drawers. And there was nothing to prove. I didn't go into it with like a franticness of like, instead of me trying to prove to him that I could be a good wife, he proved to me that he was worth me being a wife too. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. He had to prove to me because of how valuable I am, that he was worth being a wife too. Man just came into my world and rocked it upside down, but what he didn't tell me is that it came with a Call of Duty disclaimer. But yeah, that's it. That's my TED Talk for today. We done did our makeup, we done got cute. My eyeshadow turned out really good. Like, so glad I recorded this. I'm gonna go finish getting ready and I'll be back with you guys. I don't know if I want to keep a new lip. I probably should. My eyes are super heavy. Yeah, I'm gonna keep a new lip. Girl, you look so good. Oh, thank you, girl. So what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna check back in when I get dressed and put my wig on. I'm glad I stopped recording when I did. There's no battery left. Well, I guess it's my outro to the makeup video. This is how it turned out.